What's up, guys? My name is Johnny V, and today I'm going to explain to y'all how to deal the game of Baccarat, how the game of Baccarat is played. In this game, you need to know a few rules. The side closest to 9 would be the winner. But in this game, a 9 and a 5 is 14. You drop the first digit, you only have 4. The face cards in the 10s have zero value. Not 10. Well, you could say 10, but it's 0 value. So if you have a 7 and a 2, that's a 9. That's a natural 9. That's the best you can get. So if you have a 9 and a face card, that's a natural 9. That's the best hand you can have in this game. Let's see, a 9. Like if you have a 9 and a 7, that's a 6. Drop the first digit. Okay, let's get started. The best way to explain this game is to actually show you how it's dealt, how it's played. So I didn't stack this shoe any kind of way. So there's certain rules. If either side has a natural 9 or natural 8, that's just a 9 or 8 in the first 2 cards, there's no draw. Neither side will draw a card. So if either side has a 9 or 8, there's no draw. So the first cards go to the player. Player has 7 and stands. Player stands on totals of 6 or higher. The player will not draw cards on totals of 6 or higher. The player side goes first on drawn cards. The most you can have is 3 cards. So these 2 cards and possibly a 3rd card. But the player stands on totals of 6 or higher. So the player has 7 and stands. The banker has 3. So the player stands on 7. The banker has 3. So when the player stands on 2 cards, the bank will draw on totals of 0 through 5. Since this has 3, it's going to draw a card. 3 and 8 is 11, so you drop the first digit, that's 1. So the player here wins 7 over 1. Okay, let's go through another example real quick. Here, player has a natural 8, so there's going to be no draw. No draw in this hand. Neither side will draw a card. Player has natural 8, banker has 7. Player wins natural 8 over 7. Had it been the other way around, player shows 5, banker has nothing. So the player draws on totals of 5 or lower. So player has 5, going to draw a card, goes first. It draws a 6. The player is reduced to 1. The banker is going to draw a 3rd card. The banker draws a 3rd card when the player's 3rd card, if the banker has 0 through 2 like it does here, it always draws a 3rd card. If the banker has 3, it draws a 3rd card when the player's 3rd card, this card here, is anything but an 8. It's called the 38 special. Banker 3 is always going to draw a card on 3 unless the player's 3rd card is an 8. So that's kind of a tricky situation. It's called the 38 special. And the player, when the banker has 4, it's going to draw a 3rd card here when the player's 3rd card is a 2 through 7. And when the banker has 5, it's going to draw a card here when the player's 3rd card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. And when the player has 6, say like this. I mean, when the banker has 6, banker has 6 here, right? The banker is going to draw a 3rd card when the player's 3rd card is a 6 or 7. If the player does not draw a card, if the player does not draw a 3rd card, the banker will stand on 6. The only time the banker is going to draw on 6 is if the player draws a card and the 3rd card is a 6 or a 7. So the player has 5, it draws a face card. So the banker is not going to draw on 6 here because this card is not a 6 or a 7. Had this card been a 6 or a 7, let's replace it here. Let's replace it with a 6. The player had 5 and it drew a card and the player is reduced to 1. But the banker, even though the banker is winning 6 to 1 right now, the banker must draw a 3rd card. The banker draws on 6 when the player's 3rd card is a 6 or a 7. So banker's going to draw a card. Luckily it increases. Banker wins 7 over 1. Okay. You need to learn this. You need to know this like you need to know it really well. The main 3 are right here. The one the banker has 4, 5, and 6. When the banker has 0 through 2, obviously it's always going to draw, unless it's a natural. When the banker has 3, it's always going to draw unless the player draws a third card and it's an 8. See, it always draws here. When the banker has 4, it draws a third card on 2 through 7. So let's show a few hands. Player gets the first 2 cards. Player shows natural 8. Banker has nothing. So the player wins natural 8 over nothing. Like I said, when either side has an 8 or a 9, it's called a natural and there is no draw. Player shows 3. Banker has 3. Okay, so the player goes first. It draws on totals of 5 or lower. Player draws a third card. Player's increased to 7. 3 plus 4 is 7. Banker has 3. The banker is going to draw a third card when the player's third card is everything but an 8. Since this card is not an 8, the banker will take another card. So the players win 7 over 3. Let's try a few more hands. Players show 5. Bank has 1. So this is going to be a 2-card draw no matter what. There's going to be a third card here and a third card here because this total is 0, 1, or 2. Remember I told you 0, 1, or 2? When the banker has 0, 1, or 2, it always draws a third card. So the players go first. Players remain at 5. 5 and 0 is 5. So the banker draws a third card. The bankers remain at 1. So in this case, the players win 5 to 1. Players show 3. Bank has 4. Okay, so this is going to be whether or not the banker draws a third card here is dependent on this third card here. Player's going to go first. Player gets a face card. When the banker has 4, it's only going to draw a third card when the player's third card is a 2 through 7. Since this card is not a 2 through 7, the banker's going to stay on 4. The banker's going to win 4 over 3. Like I said, had this card been a 5 here, players increased to 8. But the banker has 4, is going to draw a third card when the player's third card is a 2 through 7. Since it is a 2 through 7, the banker will take another card in this situation. 8 to 8. In this case, it's a tie hand. There's 3 ways to bet in this game. I forgot to say that. You can bet on the player, you can bet on the banker, or you can bet on the tie. Player shows 3. Banker has 5. Okay, this is a good one. So there's no natural, so the player goes first. The banker has 5. Remember, the only way the banker is going to draw a third card here, banker has 5, is going to draw a third card when this card here is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. 4, 5, 6, or 7. So let's see. Player remains at 3. This is not a 4, 5, 6, or 7. So the banker is going to win 5 over 3. First thing you need to think about. Players show 1. Bank has 1. Okay, this is going to be a 2-card draw. It's not a natural, and they both have 1. So player's going to draw a card, remains at 1. Bankers increase to 9. So the bankers win 9 over 1. Players show 1. Bank has a natural 8. Okay, so there's a natural here. A 5 and a 3 is an 8. So there's no draw. Neither side draws. The banker wins natural 8 over 1. Players show 2. Bank have 5. Okay, so obviously the player is going to draw on totals of 5 or less. So automatically the player is going to get hard. Start thinking to yourself in your brain, banker has a 5. When is it going to draw a third card here? You got to think over here. Banker 5. Just think 4, 5, 6, 7. Banker 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. Banker 5, 4, 5, 6, 7. If this card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7, banker's going to draw. Okay, it's not a 4, 5, 6, or 7, so players increase to 5. Banker has 5, so that's a tie hand. 5 to 5. Go through a few more hands here. Players, natural 9. Players win, natural 9 over 2. That was not a very good example. Not a very good teaching instruction. Okay. Players, natural 8. So there's a lot of naturals here. Players win, natural 8 over 7. Players nothing. Bankers natural 8. Bankers win natural 8 over nothing. Players 2. Players show 2. Bankers have 2. Okay, so this is going to be a 2-card draw. Since the players have 5 or less, and the bankers have 0, 1, or 2, we're going to draw 2 cards, obviously. So players reduced to nothing. Card's going to be for the banker. Banker wins 8 over nothing. Let's just flip these around some. Okay, player shows 3. Banker has 5. Okay, so player has 5 or less, so it's going to draw a card, obviously. And start thinking to yourself, banker has 5. When is it going to draw a third card here? When is it going to draw a third card? When the banker has 5, it's going to draw a third card when the player's third card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. It's not a 4, 5, 6, or 7, so bankers win 5 over nothing. Let's say, I need to show you this example here. Say the players had 7 and stands. Players stand on totals of 7, 6 or higher. So 7's obviously going to stand. Obviously, players going to stand also on 6. Player 6 and stands. The banker's going to draw a third card. Even though the player does not draw a third card here, the banker's always going to draw a third card. Players win 6 over 3. So I should have said that the banker's going to draw a third card. Players show nothing. Bankers have 1. That's going to be a 2-card draw. Players remain at nothing. Bankers win 1-0. Players show 5. Bankers have 2. So the player's going to draw on 5 or lower. Players draw another 5. So the players are reduced to nothing. Bankers have 2, so the banker's going to draw. So the bankers win 1 over nothing. Let's flip that around some. Let's show you this. As the players show 7, bankers have 4. Players stand on 7. Remember, players stand on totals of 6 or higher. Players have 7, bankers have 4. So the banker's going to draw a third card. Even though the player's not drawing a third card here, the bankers are going to draw a card on totals of 5 or less. Players win 7 to 5. The only time the banker's going to draw a third card when it has 6 is if the player takes a third card and it's a 6 or 7. I'll show you that example in a minute. Players show 2. Bankers have 5. Remember, bankers have 5 now. So the only time it's going to draw a third card, if the player draws a third card, is if this card here is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. It's not, so the bankers win 5 over 2. Players show 4. Bankers have 6. Okay, so this is a good one. Players going to draw on totals of 5 or less. So the players draw a card up to 5. Bankers going to stand on 6 because this card is not a 6 or a 7. Players, nothing. Players show nothing. Bankers have 5. Okay, so the players go first. They're going to draw a card. Now, bankers have 5. So think to yourself, when are the bankers going to draw a third card? And so it's going to be right here. When this card here is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. Bankers have 5. Draws a third card when the player's third card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. Okay, it's not a 4, 5, 6, or 7. So the bankers are going to stand on 5. Bankers win 5 over 2. Here's a good one. Players show 7 and stand. Bankers have 6. So remember, the only time a banker's going to draw a third card is if the players draw a third card and it's a 6 or 7. Players don't draw a third card here, so the players win 7 to 6. Had it been the other way around, same thing. Players stand on 6. Players don't draw on totals of 6 or higher. Players draw on totals of 5 or high or lower. So players stand on 6. Bankers stand on 7. Bankers win 7 to 6. Either way, 7 to 6, no draw. Players win 7 to 6, or the bankers win 7 to 6. Players show 6 and stand. Bankers have 6. So it's 6-6. It's a tie. Remember, the bankers do not draw a third card here because the players didn't draw a third card. It has to be a 6 or 7. Let's mix it up around over here like this. So the players show 5, the bankers have 4 now. Players show 5, the bankers have 4. When is the banker going to draw a third card here? When this third card here, the bankers have 4. Bankers have 4. It's going to draw a third card when the player's third card is a 2 through 7. So the only way the banker's going to draw a third card here is if this card here is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. It's not, so the players win here, 5 over 4. This card is very important. The player's third card determines whether or not the banker is going to draw a third card. Players show 2. Bankers have 7. Okay. So the players draw on totals of 5 or lower. Players are reduced from 2 to 1. So the players have 1 now. Bankers win 7 to 1. Bankers always stay on totals of 7 or higher. Let's draw a few more hands here. I know this video is getting kind of long, but it's kind of important to show you all the scenarios. Players shows nothing. Bankers have 2. So this is going to be a 2-card draw. It's kind of boring. Players are up to 6. Bankers remain at 2. Players win 6 to 2. See if we can get a couple extra interesting hands. Players show 6 and stands. Players, no cards for the players. Bankers have a natural 8. So bankers win natural 8 over 6. Let's flip this around some. Say the players show 5. Bankers have 4. Okay, so the players draw on totals of 5 or lower. Be thinking to yourself now, bankers have 4. When is the bankers going to draw a third card? It's right here. It's dependent on this third card right here. Bankers have 4, so bankers have 4. They draw a third card when the player's third card is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. Okay, the card is a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. So even though the players are reduced to nothing, the banker still has to draw here on 4. Bankers are increased to 8. Bankers win 8 over nothing. This could have been disastrous, obviously, if the bankers would have drawn a 6 here. Players have nothing. The bankers are already in the lead 4, but that doesn't mean anything. The bankers still have to take a card. It's not up for discussion. Players, natural 9. There will be no draw. Players win natural 9 over 1. Players show 5. Bankers have 5. Okay, and then this is the interesting one. So players have 5 or less, so they're going to draw a card here. When are the bankers going to draw a third card here? Bankers on 5, remember? Bankers have 5. It's going to draw a third card when the player's third card is 4, 5, 6, or 7. So if this card is a 4, 5, 6, or 7, the bankers will draw a card here. It is a 4, 5, 6, or 7. But the players are reduced to 1. Talk your game. Be in a habit of talking your game. It'll help you. Players show 5. Draw a card. Players are reduced to 1. Card for the banker. Okay, the bankers are reduced to 2, but still win 2 over 1. Bankers win 2 over 1. A lot of casinos want you to push the cards up when the winning side. Players show 6 and stands. Bankers have 7. Bankers win 7 to 6. Players show nothing. Bankers have nothing. Card for both sides. Card here, card here. Automatically, no thinking in this one. Players are increased to 7. Bankers are increased to 8. Bankers win 8 over 7. So you push it up a little bit. I don't have a lot of room to work with here. Players show 1. Bankers have 4. Okay, this is a good one. Players have 5 or less, so the players are going to draw a third card here. The bankers have 4. Be thinking to yourself, 4, 2, 7. A lot of dealers I've heard say 4, 2, 7, 5, 4, 7, 6, 6, 7. That's where they just etch that in your brain. 4, 2, 7, 5, 4, 7, 6, 6, 7. Bankers have 4, 2 through 7. Bankers have 5, 4 through 7. Bankers have 6, 6 or 7. 4, 2, 7, 5, 4, 7, 6, 6, 7. When the bankers have 3, they always draw a third card unless the player's third card is an 8. Remember that 38 special. So the players show 1. Players are increased to 6. Remember I told you when the bankers have 4, it draws a third card here. When this card is a 2 through 7, it is, so players were increased to 6. The bankers are reduced to 3. 4 and 9 is 13, so you drop the first digit. That's a 3. So the players win 6 over 3. This video's already 20 minutes. Great. I gotta show. I mean, there's no other way around it. Players natural 8. There will be no draw. Players win natural 8 over 2. Players show 6 and stands. Players stand on totals of 6 or higher. Bankers have natural 9. Bankers win. Say it was like that. Players show 4. Bankers have 1. Be a card for the player. Players are increased to 1. Card for the banker. Bankers win 8 to 5. 8, yeah. See if I can get a couple more interesting ones. Players show 1. Bankers have 3. Okay. So remember, bankers are going to draw a third card always unless the player's third card here is an 8. If this card is an 8, the bankers will stay on 3. This card is not an 8, so the bankers are going to draw a card here. Talk your game though. Remember, players show 1, bankers have 3. Card for the player. Players are increased to 5. Card for the banker. Bankers are reduced to nothing. Players win. Push the card up. Players win 5 over nothing. Players show 6 and stand. Bankers have 4. Remember I told you, bankers are going to draw a card on 5 or less. When the players don't draw a card, the bankers are always going to draw on totals of 5 or less. So the players stand on 6, card for the banker. Players win 6 over nothing. 14 and 6 is 20. You drop the first digit, so players win 6 over nothing. Let's see, 6, 6 is a tie, we covered that. Players win, if there's only players show 7, bankers 6, players win 7 to 6. Same thing the other way. If the bankers have 7 and the players have 6, bankers win 7 to 6. Let's see what we get here. Players, natural 8, that's not a, there will be no draw. Players win. Players show 4, bankers have nothing.